Good afternoon, Treasurer Sharp.
Good afternoon, Commissioner Sanders. How are you?
I'm good. I really appreciate you joining us for Conversations with Commissioner Sanders. We've been doing this the last couple of months, and this is my way of outreaching to my community without having to spend, a lot of money on mailings, because that's really the only way to catch everybody. Um, so we've been doing this. We did one earlier with the Racial Equity Office,
Mhm.
and so I just introduced myself. I'm Caroline Sanders. I'm Commissioner for District 4. That covers all of Pittsfield Township and Precinct 1, or about 10% of Ypsilanti Township. And I am now in my third term. And I am pleased to introduce you. You're not new to people. You've been at the county way longer than I have. But you are evolving, and you have continued to evolve, and you are in a new role. And
Yes,
so
I
I'm
am.
excited to give you an opportunity um, to be able to talk to my constituents about, who you are, what your office does, any sort of cutting edge things you want to share with us, or
Mhm.
anything that you want to share with us. So
Oh,
I'm going to
that's
turn it over
wonderful.
to you.
Well, thank you so much. It is a pleasure to be here with you this afternoon. And I love these outreach opportunities because you're absolutely correct. This is the best way to reach people and reach a large volume of people. My name is Latitia Lamel Sharp, and you are correct. I am no stranger to Washtenaw County, but I am new to this role. I am the county treasurer. I was elected in the in November 24 election. And unfortunately, I started my seat earlier than we all anticipated on the heels of the death of the late Catherine McCleary. But I did come into this role on December 5th, 2024. And so I've been here a little over 8 months or so. And I am excited to be in this space. Like I said, I've been with the county a long time, 36 years. And so I consider this the end of a full circle for me. Being in the county so long, it was just, to me, it's a natural place for me to be. So I'm excited about this role. I'm excited to be in this seat, and I'm excited about this conversation.
Um, um, you mentioned Catherine McCleary. We all have, need to tip our hats to her. She was in every way a trailblazer,
Yes.
absolutely a trailblazer. And I don't think people really realized how long she was in office, but she also was truly an underdog advocate for our residents, and created some very cutting edge programs that I think had national impact, or were
Mhm.
copied by other
Mhm.
people in other areas. And so
Mhm.
from that standpoint, talk to us about what you have inherited. I mean, what does she leave you? What
Mhm.
legacy did she leave you to then carry forward? And what, how do you feel about that?
Well, let me start off with let me tell you, the county treasurer is kind of twofold, and they kind of get a bad rap. So first, from what the role of the county treasurer is within county government, the county treasurer serves as the county's banker and investment officer. We collect taxes. We do things like we certify deeds. We even have to issue dog licenses and kennel licenses. We collect all the revenues, receipt them, record them that the county takes in. So we serve. That's the piece of the banking money piece of it all. The county treasurer is also responsible, like I said, for collecting property taxes, and in that, if the taxes are turned over to the county treasurer and delinquent, it is by law we have to collect on those taxes. And so you can get a treasurer that just says, "Hey, that's the law. I'm going to go and collect, and by right, I have to do that." But there's a lot of work that happens before we get to that, and so that's the foundation that I inherited. Is that we had a treasurer, and not just alone here in Washtenaw County, but definitely the trailblazer for other counties. we had a treasurer that said, before we get to this collection process, we got about 3 years. Let's try to help people stay in their properties, stay in their homes, because we know that that's probably your biggest investment, is your home. And then two, we know that in this day and age, your home is probably the most affordable home place that you can live right now. Is the one that you currently live in. So Catherine went out, and she also kind of saw that there were some things that were done that was, not the most precedent thing to do. Racially segregated in areas. A lot of homeowners lived in their homes. They inherited their homes, but not legally. They lived there because grandma lived there, and then grandma died. They inherited, their daughter inherited, nobody had the deed. And so, or nobody had, rights to the home in order to be able to qualify for certain other exemptions that you get just for being a homeowner. So Catherine looked, she knew that that was not an issue. I mean, that was not fair. And that's what I loved about her as a person. She was a fair-minded person. So even though she was not one of those folks that was in that situation, those were mostly Black and brown people, low income folks that was in those type of situations. She knew that it was something that needed to be addressed. And so she did that by reaching out, working with probate court, and developing programs to help people, one, get the right ownership in the right name, in the ownership in the name of the correct person, so that they can qualify for things. But then also the outreach. So we have a team that we refer to here called the PA 123 team, and that's Public Act 120. That's the state law that tells us how we can collect delinquent taxes. And so we we start going out doing outreach to help people, one, qualify for exemptions, two, remind them that they have payments due, and try to stop that foreclosure, because you start from delinquency to forfeiture to foreclosure. And so we try to get you right at that before you get to delinquency and start working with you there. So what I inherited is that same heart, that same spirit, that Washtenaw County is proud to say that we are one of the counties. And I want to note Pittsfield Township is one of the counties within or one of the townships within Washtenaw County that have very, very low foreclosures, very, very low, forfeitures, because we start early, and the county overall, we have very very low foreclosures because of the outreach, that this team does. So I'm very proud to have inherited that heart for the people. And some of these folks are not easy to reach out to because they don't trust government. So you have to have a sense of people, a sense of care and concern. And I think that's what I inherited.
So tell us some of the things. So we'll talk about your staffing. So you you just shared that you were fully staffed now,
Mhm.
but you weren't necessarily coming in to
Right.
your role. And so does that, I'm
Well,
sure that gives you a great peace of mind.
yes,
We a new deputy, and we've all, I'm gonna say, we've all jumped him in, so he's stuck
yes.
with us. He can't leave.
Yes, he cannot leave. He cannot leave. Well, I'm gonna tell you, and we're gonna have this is a candid conversation. When I stepped into this role, like I said, 29 days earlier than anyone expected me to, I also stepped into the three top leadership leaving. Catherine won in death, and then the deputy treasurer. She had already announced her retirement, and then the chief deputy had planned on retiring, but Catherine passed, so she stayed on, and she's still on now, helping me to onboard. So that was right off the front. We were short staffed. We had some folks that were off for medical reasons, so I was down 4 or 5 people when I stepped in. My staff is only 17, so we was really stretched really wide. We were right at the tax time, December 1st. We were at the tax season there, and another big tax season coming up in March. So we were at a very, very crucial time on the bed of being a new treasurer, being not only low staff, but staff leadership leaving, And so, it was very challenging, but I have to say my former chief deputy treasurer, um, Kirsten Osborne, stayed on, and she said, from the beginning, Latitia, she had served three treasurers. So she served me, she onboarded Catherine, she onboarded the treasurer prior to Catherine. And so she said she would be here until I found a new chief deputy, and that I felt secure to, kind of make sure that she can really hand it off in an appropriate way. But I also can say the staff that's here, they're so awesome that the our residents or our constituents never even noticed that we were short staffed, because it never interrupted our services, our operations, or anything. They just did more work, and they just did it because we needed to have it done. But I am fully staffed now. I just welcomed a new chief deputy treasurer, Tyrus Wall Seniors. He had been with the county before, so he comes with institutional knowledge like I did. He comes with a great, strong financial background, and he really had to come in hitting the ground running. So Kirsten has been working with him. I have a great deputy treasurer, and so we are really fully staffed now, and I am excited now that we can really operate fully staffed. So it was a challenge and it was a stumbling block, but I think we're in a good spot right now. I really do.
You have been kind enough to join me at least once on. I've been doing some outreach in my own district for the last month or so, and
Mhm,
you've joined me at the farmers market in Pittsfield Township. And
mhm.
so, what are you finding in terms of your outreach to the residents? Are they happy to see you? Are they surprised? Are they asking questions?
You know what, Carolyn? I am like you in so many ways. People think government is something that you don't touch. And I think government needs to be right there in the crux, right there in the community. So anytime I have an opportunity to reach out, they're shocked to see the treasurer at the farmers market, or the treasurer at the veterans fair, or at the treasurers at a senior community center, or at the Celtic Festival, wherever I am. Wherever I am, I'm invited, I will come. And that's not just to you, Commissioner Sanders, but that's across to all of the commissioners. I'm open for that. I think that a lot of people don't know what the treasurer does, and they don't know how the treasurer can help them, or how the treasurer can even service them. But what I'm hearing from the first thing is they're surprised that I'm there. And then they're surprised that I'm just not a tax collector. I'm just not coming to tell you to pay your taxes or else. But there's other outreach things. And I know that the board and even yourself, we've had conversation about financial literacy. I find that is going to be a really something that we really do need to talk about, and because that will affect people's property and property taxes. I'm working to do something, and I'm excited. I'm announcing it here, fresh out of the bag, is what I'm going to call kissing counties or connecting counties. And I'm working with the Wayne County Treasurer to see if how we can meet at the border. And I know you like to use the support services vehicle, meet at the border with his border and my border, and see how counties could connect. And then not just that, maybe we can go to Genesee County and kind of connect the counties and let that spread throughout Michigan, because it's important for people to know that across the state of Michigan, we have the same issue. We're just smaller, some are larger, but the issue is the same. But our network of county treasurers, I think it's 83 of us. We are really, really close. This group is awesome. And so we want to find ways that we can make sure that we're not leaving any gaps open. So that's something that we talked about doing, and we want to kick off this year. And so it's still in the planning stage or talking stage. But I'm excited about that. Hopefully that will take on and carry on throughout the state.
That'll be interesting because I don't know if people really realize, the crossover that occurs, right? I mean, this may not be the best example, but the Willow Run Airport, right?
Mhm,
It sits in Washtenaw County and Wayne County.
mhm,
They literally abut to each other.
mhm.
And there I would imagine that there are also people that own land or farmland that
Mhm.
crosses over.
Mhm.
Milan is an example of that. Some of it is
Mhm.
in Washtenaw County, some of it is in Monroe County.
Yeah, so we would
So,
we would butt up to that county treasurer and see how we can work, together. Because when we're all whole, that's what makes Michigan whole. It's no good in just one county being prosperous and not the other. You know what I mean? So I think that that's a good start, and we'll see where it goes from there. I have a philosophy here in the office that there's 5 things that we must think about every day in everything we do. We got to think about people. We got to think about, are we following policy law? Got to think about the programs that we're developing, that we're creating, that we're promoting. We got to think about partnerships. Who's our partner? And then we got to think about the property of the people that we have in this place. So I tell my staff all the time, if the work we're doing doesn't touch one of those things, then we're not being effective. We're not working effectively here in the treasurer's office.
do you what if any interaction or opportunities do you think there are for the treasurer's office in relationship to the new senior millage? Because you have
Oh,
a lot of, aging residents that are living here in the county. They may not have loved ones or caretakers near them. Do you see opportunities for you to do even more with or through that millage and that soon to be established office?
I can tell you that the majority of our residents that are in foreclosure or who have issues are seniors. The majority of our residents that have questions about their bills or questions about deferments or things like that are seniors. And it used to be the poor seniors or the seniors that were low income. Now it's just across the board. So we are seeing that. And so I'm hoping that there's some way we can partner with an educational outreach, because some of these families that we're seeing, that calls that we're getting now, I think it's just the educational piece. Some are elderly, they're living alone, they don't have family. In some cases, we've had to go to court and see if we can get a guardian appointed to them so that to help them manage their finances. Um, and so, um, if we don't look at the holistic approach, then that the senior millage, I'm hoping we'll be able to do some out financial literacy outreach to seniors, because that group is very vulnerable right now, and their income is not going to grow. I mean, they can't go out and get another job, and so I think that I'm hoping that that's the case. So I put it out there, and when we do have someone, I know you all are in the process of hiring a director, but I'm hoping that there's some space that we can have a conversation to partner.
What would you say to our younger residents that what would be the basic sort of qualifications if someone wanted to work in the treasurer's office? What would you advise? I mean, I, some people have worked their way up through,
Mhm.
you know, do you have to have an accounting degree? Do you have to, what does that look like? And I'm asking you that because on the conversation with the racial equity office, one of the questions that I asked was about, greater diversity amongst our departments. You've been with the county a long time, and I know it's not a surprise to you, but there are a large number of departments where there is zero or no, zero to little diversity. I mean,
Mhm.
county jobs are good jobs to have, but
Mhm.
how do you get one? And what are those qualifications look like? I've tried to say to people, try and get your foot in the door, right?
Mhm.
And don't get locked into because you're applying for this position and maybe you are offered it, that's where you're
Mhm.
going to be stuck for the rest of your life. And I'm asking you because you have moved
Mhm.
through and up. in the county.
Mhm.
So, what would you say to our younger people, or even people that are interested in working for the county? This isn't an HR speech, but it's sort of an
Mhm.
encouragement that, people should consider us.
I would say first off, understand that I never thought county government was for a certain class of people because it was presented differently. But I think that you have to have a heart for people and helping people. I don't care what department you work in. That's what county government is. You have to have a heart for that. And but for the treasurer's office, I would say if I was doing a hiring spiel for the treasurer's office, I would say the people. You have to have some type of knowledge of Washtenaw County because we deal in properties, areas, we deal with what resources are available, and what services are available to what class of people. So you have to have some sense of how the county is structured in terms of supports and resources and funding. And then obviously in certain areas and certain positions, you do have to have a financial background. You have to have a strong financial background because we are responsible for all of the revenue that comes into the county. The investments, some if that's the area, because we have like that's a different banking area. So if you were interested in being on an investment team or our banking team, those are the backgrounds you would have, or accounting you would have to have for that. But our team is really small. Like I said, we have 17. We have four payment specialists, which is entry level, and then we have revenue specialists. We have a revenue manager, a finance manager, and then we have our deputy. We have our accountants. We have three accountants. We have three tax specialists. That's part of the PA 123 team that I referred to earlier. And then we have the deputy treasurer, the chief deputy treasurer, and then myself. So I'm elected, the chief deputy is appointed. So all the other positions are actual stay positions that stay with whoever, wins the election. But I would say hard for people, and you do have to have some type of financial background where you understand the county's financial structure.
Right. And I'm going to add to that, and or a willingness to obtain
Yeah.
that professional development or
Mm-hmm.
education, because
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that we talk enough about, the
Mm-hmm.
county does have tuition reimbursement.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an
And
opportunity for people to grow,
mm-hmm.
themselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
And to have the support to do that.
And also, I just want to add that the county has a lot of resources, and with the internet and Facebook and YouTube and all that, there's so many opportunities to go out. If you're interested in a position, go out to the website, find out a little bit more about that job, and then so when you go to the interview, you can have some information about the job that you're actually applying for. That is so crucial because the competition is really high out there. We have more people that are overly qualified for a job than we have that are not, right? And so, and the people who are overly qualified, they may get their foot in the door, but they're not going to stay. I mean, if they've gone, and gotten their advanced degrees, they're looking for an advanced professional type of position.
I
Not to say
encourage
that they
people
can't
all the
start
time
there.
to, yeah, I encourage people all the time to request an informational interview.
Yeah. Hmm.
They don't always say yes, but
Hmm.
sometimes they're so intrigued that you are intrigued enough to just want to have a conversation. You can
Hmm.
learn so much from reaching out in that way to say, I don't know anything about this, but I'm interested. So
I I want to circle back to the senior millage issue because I found my statistics and I want to make sure that I bring them up because I was one of the things that I wanted to talk to about with the senior millage is a senior stay home program is what I want to kind of ignite to them. And that's on the heels of 65% of forfeited owner occupied properties are homeowners age 55 and up. 72% of our property exemption applications for 2024 were seniors, and 87 of our current bridge loan recipients are seniors. 86 of homeowners assisted through our tax foreclosure prevention court process has been seniors. And we are hoping that we can use those statistics to work with someone to kind of start up in our office, a senior stay home program where we keep our seniors in their home. I'll just add a few challenges and opportunities that I see while I'm sitting in this seat is we all know that there's some issues at the state level. And we know that as a trickle down to the county level, that managing county funds um, may become a little difficult, and nothing to be concerned about, but it is something that we need to definitely talk about. Um, we also have some technology integration that's going on. We want to be able to reach our people better, store information better, be able to respond better. So we're looking at opportunities that we can be able to do that. We have automation anywhere, which helps us process our payments quicker and faster, and therefore kind of get things resolved in a timely manner. And so, but we know we need to upgrade that as well. And then obviously community engagement is what we're doing now. I'm going to want to do more of that, more informationals, more opportunities like this, where people can either ask me questions or I just come and give you information. And then I'm looking to hopefully do some type of policy changes within our office that we can be more accessible to people in general. So those are just some of the things that I'm looking at to do, or that I see are challenges and opportunities to grow.
That's good. Because I think that this is I don't want to say a perfect storm because I don't like the storm part of it,
Mhm,
but I think that this is an opportune time because we've got broadband now that's going throughout the county. We now
mhm.
have the senior millage and we have your office and those three I think converge well with each other, right?
They do.
Because if we can help our senior members be not as intimidated by technology and understand that it can actually extend your independence,
Mhm.
meaning you don't have to try and figure out how to get into your car in the wintertime when it's not safe for you to be out on the road to go and
Right,
pay your taxes.
right,
When you
right.
could literally get logged on
Mhm,
and virtually, through the internet, through broadband, pay your
mhm,
taxes right then, get a
mhm,
receipt and
mhm.
and not have to leave your home.
That is the goal. We want to make sure that, like we said, and I agree 100% with you, we want to make sure that whatever in the technology world, we should be advanced enough to be able to move that forward so people can get their things processed quickly. And then, but even with that, we got to make sure first off that technology is safe to use and that, that we have all our safeguards in place so that, because sometimes we have bad actors. And so once we get those things figured out, that is my goal to kind of keep people at home and be as efficient as we possibly can to get them services. They don't, some services you shouldn't have to leave your home to get.
That's
Yeah.
true. And I hope that little plug, I hope that the MSSI can help you with that because
Yes.
you
Oh,
can
yes.
certainly utilize that to meet more rural residents or more, urbanly situated residents who may have logistical challenges. You can
Hey,
meet them kind of where they are, and maybe even if they have a laptop, they know how to use it, but maybe they just need to get on the vehicle so one of you or one of your staff could literally walk them through the pages once they get onto the Washtenaw County website. How do you find, where do I go to pay what I owe, and how do I find where to go and see what I owe?
right. I am 100% on that page. I've already talked to the racial equity officer, and I have plans to utilize that buzz. In fact, I've already used it once in collaboration with the veterans office, veteran services offices. And so we used it. It was great. I do want to do just that. I want to take the bus to the people. basically the whole reason we have it, right, is to
Correct.
get them on the bus. Let's walk through your application. Let's see where you are. Let's answer whatever questions you need. Because when I said in the beginning, pretty much like you, and I just honor you for that. And I really respect the work you do in that way, is going to where they are. It's so hard for people to come to our office. And I start all my conversations when I do community outreach is it's hard for you to find parking downtown to come to my office. So let me come to you. It's just easier, right? So I'm excited and I very, very much want to do just that. And I want to come out to Pittsfield Township and do more, partner out there with with the treasurer out there and the folks out there who I just love dearly. Great partners. So anytime they need something, I'm definitely there for them.
Yeah. I definitely consider myself blessed to be in this district.
Yes, it's a great district.
Very like-minded individuals living here that all want this, pretty much want the same things, that's a good feeling to be in a community like that.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'm really excited about it. I am technically now a senior.
Hmm.
Um, my mother is a senior as well, and
Hmm.
she's still able to drive and everything, but she still has to pay her property taxes,
Hmm.
knowing it's not even just the property tax, but the digital divide. If we're able to minimize that, it allows people to send out for groceries.
Right,
Maybe you don't want
right,
to drive in an ice storm.
right, right.
You
Nor
can
should
have
you have
anything
to.
delivered.
Mhm.
Exactly. So I'm just thrilled to have you on here. I think you were one of the first electeds actually to express interest in joining me at some of my outreach events.
I
And
will
I didn't
join
even
you
think about
any.
it, but to me, maybe it's the only child in me, the more the merrier.
Right.
Uh
Well,
because you're
I'm
making me look
excited.
good.
Hey, you know what? It's just working collaboratively. And I always say, in any position, I need the board and to we need to work together in order to make the whole county function, right? We need each other. So anytime I can come anywhere or be anywhere, I definitely will be there. I do want to share some reminders since I have this space about summer
Go
tax
ahead.
bills, if that's okay. So summer tax bills, they were mailed out on July 1st and they're due by your local unit by September 14th. Um, some places it might be different, so check with your office. The city of Ann Arbor, I think theirs is due on which was due on July 31st. So check with your township or city treasurer's office. The treasurer's office, so the county treasurer's office will be mailing out tax reminder notices on September 1st for anyone with 2024 and or prior taxes owed. So you get a reminder in the mail that you didn't pay your taxes for anything that's 2024 or previous. Anyone who owes taxes for 2023 or prior years are at risk of foreclosure in February 2026. So you really need to reach out to my office, talk with one of our tax specialists. Do not put it off. And see if you can get a hardship application and talk to someone about where you are with that. Don't wait till February. Um, Also, I want to put a plug in for Ypsilanti Township. Ypsilanti Township residents who meets a guideline, there is a probate, or I'm sorry, a rebate for your water bill. You have to go to Yucca and there's a website, but there's the deadline to apply for that is November 30th. But you can get some dollars off of your water bill. Um, and that's for 2026, but the deadline for that is November 30th. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because the water bills are added to your property taxes, and they incur interest. And so you don't want that interest. So I wanted to make sure I get those reminders. Check our website, go to our website. All that information there is under property and delinquent taxes. It gives you deadlines, timelines, and all those things. But if you're in trouble, please contact our office, because we want to stop we want to help you, like I said, ahead of time before we get to the part where it's just unmanageable.
Okay. Um, I don't know if there's anything else. This has all been chock full of information and
Okay.
helpful. And as I've told my other guests, we absolutely will come back to you, and
Hmm.
you are welcome to reach out to us if there's, something breaking
Hmm.
news that you want to share. All you have to do is reach out to me or Tabitha, and we can get another conversation scheduled.
Okay.
Um, I'm hoping at some point. I'm just probably 6 months into this, but I'm hoping to have repeat visits, right? Especially with the duly elected offices, the
Hmm.
other five offices,
Hmm.
so that they always have a way to share that information with the residents, and they know how to reach out to you. Um, do you have a phone number or website or
I do.
email that you would like to share with people? Um, and I'll say this for Tabitha's sake, maybe when we post this out, maybe what we can start to do is when we post these conversations out on YouTube, we can make sure that we have the contact information for each office that we've had a conversation with. So people don't
Okay.
have to go digging for it. We can do that, uh, Treasure Sharp, if you like. We can do that. We could, make sure we put your contact information out there, so anybody that goes on to listen to the YouTube recording
Okay.
would then have your information there.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Because I mean, I can look stuff up, but honestly, it's a whole lot easier if I'm viewing something like this, to
Hmm.
have your contact information on the screen. That just makes life easier and allows you not to forget or put it off.
Hmm.
You know.
And I
So,
guess I just want to share, yes, my contact information is available. Please put it out there and it is
okay.
available. I am a treasure that you can reach, you can talk to, you can come to the office, you can see me in the community. I'm here, our
What?
office staff is here. Um, and we're here to support and help and that's what we're gonna do. I have some countywide stats. Do you want me to share? As far as delinquent unpaid property taxes that became delinquent on March 1st of the following year. So in 2022, countywide, we had 5,325 delinquent taxes. For 23, we had 5,116, and for 24, we had 5,516. That was delinquent. In forfeiture, we had 2021, we had 763. That's the second stage. And then in 2022, we had 677. And in 2023, we had 850. That's the second stage of the foreclosure process. And then for dog licenses, we issued 2,331 dog licenses. And this we service a total of about 772,000 residents in Washtenaw County. So those are just some countywide statistics that I'm sharing. Um,
Sorry. So the numbers are actually going up.
the numbers have gone up, and that's why I was saying earlier, they're going to go up even more. By the time that this was prepared, I can share that we got time.
Yeah.
Uh, okay, hold on. I can share. So our property tax delinquency. So for the breakdown, so we're looking at that went through a full cycle. So I have not gone through a full cycle. So the only year that's gone through a full cycle, because remember it takes 3 years, is 2022. So in 2022, that full cycle, there was 5,325 parcels that were turned over delinquent on March 1st in 2023. 677 was recorded as forfeitures on March 1st, 2024. 221 was withheld from foreclosure for hardship or other reasons. So that's our outreach going out there and pull those. 11 parcels foreclosed in April, March 2025, and one was vacant house and 10 was vacant lots. So after the first auction in July, 7 of those foreclosed properties were sold, and the remaining 4 will be offered at the August auction. So although we started with 5,335 parcels that were turnover delinquent, out of that 5,000, we only foreclosed on 11.
So the how does the auction work? How does that work? Is that an in person? Can you bid online? And people still have the ability to redeem at the auction, or
So I'm going to give you some information and then I can come back particularly on that. But the auctions are done on auction.com and it's on our website. The properties, the auction dates, because we're required by law to post the date and time before we have the auctions. So they're on our website and I'm going to steer you to that because I haven't gone through that whole auction process yet. We're at the end of it. You, you're you're muted.
okay, yeah,
Yeah.
that was just of interest to me because
Yeah.
people may want to try and redeem their stuff, or
Mhm.
maybe a
There
family
is a
member wants to
process in
try and
which
buy it.
you can redeem it, but not when it's already gone to
Okay.
auction. And that's why we try to we do everything before it gets there to say, hey, are
Right.
you sure? And I visited the properties and the properties like I said, it was the properties that we had was one vacant house and 10 10 properties that were lots, vacant lots. Um like my predecessor, it would be we would know if a house is occupied, and we would probably take more attention to those properties if they were occupied and or if they were functioning homes. The one home
Okay.
that was foreclosed on was not occupied, nor had anybody been living in there for many, many years.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
But I can come
Well,
back and we can talk about auctions and property at another time if you like.
yeah, I
Mhm,
would. That's a
mhm.
that's a whole nother topic that I think would be of interest to people.
Yeah.
Um, I am so thank you very much.
Oh, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. And like I said, I've only been in the seat for 8 months. So I do want to come back when I've had a full cycle of settlements and property redemptions and tax
Okay.
collections. When I've had that whole process, I'd like to come back and talk about my experience with that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You'll be more
Yeah.
than welcome.
All
Be
right. Well,
glad to
thank you
have
so
you.
much. Thank you so
You're
much. Thank you
welcome.
for doing this.
Certainly. Thank you.